Look, I get it. Horror games aren't for everyone. Hell, it takes a lot for me to commit to one. The ones I love, like Resident Evil 2 or The Evil Within. But even those might be a bit too much for some people. So here's a list of games I recommend if you want to get into the Halloween spirit, but you don't want the risk of things unexpectedly jumping out at you in the dark. The Last of Us. The scares come more from the raw tension and disturbing nature of many of its scenes. You got zombies, you've got survival and resource management. It's a dog jumping out of a window away from being Resident Evil. Ghost of Tsushima Legends. It's not a scary game by any means, but it still has a healthy dose of the supernatural to get you in the Halloween spirit, from the setting to the enemies and even the designs of the game's cosmetics. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Not a typical pick by any means, but it has some pretty great autumn vibes, not to mention a pretty unsettling atmosphere when in the Twilight Realm and in wolf form. If you want to get in the vibe but hate gore or jump scares, this is a solid alternative to everything else out there. Majora's Mask is also a great pick, but if you want something a bit more modern, Twilight Princess is the one. BioShock. This isn't inherently a horror game, but it still has plenty of unsettling atmosphere to freak you out. Play it with the lights off and it'll be just as good as any classic scary movie. Devil May Cry 5. Definitely not a scary game by any stretch of the imagination, but still home to a host of freaky creatures and gothic vibes to warrant a spot on this list. You've got demons, you've got hell, and you've got demon hunters.
Don't you dare say it, jackpot!
Bloodborne. Bloodborne doesn't have any typical jump scares or anything, but the gothic architecture, Lovecraftian atmosphere, and legitimately unsettling enemy design should definitely make this a Halloween must-play. I'd also recommend the other games in the Souls series, but Bloodborne is by far the best Halloween-ish one to play. There have even been multiple times when I legit could not look at the screen because certain enemies were so disgusting. 10 out of 10. Limbo and Inside. Yeah, they're side-scrollers, but don't let that deceive you. Limbo has a distinctively creepy art style and some graphic death animations, and Inside, well, it verges on some pretty disturbing territory at certain points. Big recommend if you want something you can knock out in an evening or two. Doom. It's like a reverse slasher movie. You are the one that everyone in this game fears. Plus, the setting is prime. You could also go old school and play the original Doom. Not to mention that Doom 3 is pretty much a horror game for the first bit of it. Any Doom you want, it'll work. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, or any Shin Megami Tensei game for that matter. They're kind of hard to get access to these days without an emulator, but they're well worth seeking out if you want something creepy and unsettling. The atmosphere of these games can get pretty damn heavy, so I definitely recommend it. You might want to set aside the entire month of October for one though, since they're definitely big time sinks. Control. This one definitely makes sense considering it comes from the team that gave us Alan Wake, but the environment of Control is particularly unique, even by gaming standards. There really isn't anything else like this game. The game is ultimately an empowering experience, but it definitely has its share of the supernatural and occult that make it a good pick for Halloween. Batman Arkham Asylum. The gothic influence of Batman is extremely apparent in all of the Arkham games. They all have some legitimately unsettling scarecrow moments too, so yeah. Plus you have that whole section in the first game with the escaped inmates, and yeah, pretty spooky. For the sake of this list, I'm specifically recommending Arkham Asylum, but you can't go wrong with any of the Arkham games, except maybe Origins. Not because it's bad, because it's not, but because that game actually takes place around another holiday, Christmas. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. You've got monsters, you have a fantasy setting, and some fall and winter vibes. Bada bing, bada boom, there's your Halloween game. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The game itself isn't inherently scary, but there's plenty of traditional horror elements like vampires and werewolves to get you in the Halloween spirit without freaking you out. Plus, there's an entire vampire expansion in the form of Dawnguard, so definitely check that out. And that's all I've got. Obviously there are probably more that I missed, but I wanted to specifically highlight entire games that might have some Halloween-ish vibes, not just specific sections of games. I just wanted to make this quick video in case you're someone who feels left out of the Halloween experience because you don't like horror games, but still wanted to soak up the vibes and be a part of the holiday season. I was that way for a very long time. I also wanted to get a quick rapid fire video out because I'm actually in the process of moving. That's why I wrapped up Random Access Memories too. But once I'm settled, I definitely want to start making the kinds of videos you might expect from me. So with that, subscribe to the channel, stay posted, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next time.